Have you ever noticed how some people feel completely fine staying at home, while others start feeling restless after just a few hours? They check their phone again and again. They feel like they're missing something, like the world is moving and they're stuck. But then, there are people who feel the exact opposite. They cancel plans and feel relief. They stay inside and feel calm. They choose silence over noise. And the strange part is, they don't feel lonely. They feel comfortable. Now most people look at this and think it's laziness. Or maybe they assume it's antisocial behavior. But that's not true. Because for many people, staying at home is not about avoiding life. It's about protecting their energy. You see, your brain is constantly working. When you're outside, around people, it becomes alert. It reads faces. It listens to tone. It analyzes every small detail, even when you don't notice it. And that constant processing slowly drains you. That's why, after spending time outside, you feel tired, even if you didn't do much. But when you come back home, everything changes. The noise disappears. The pressure fades. Your mind slows down. And for the first time, in a long time, you feel like yourself again. That's why some people don't just like staying home, they need it. But here's where things become important. Loving to stay at home is not a problem until it slowly turns into avoidance. Because there's a difference between choosing solitude and running away from discomfort. Sometimes, we stay inside not because we want peace, but because we want to avoid situations. Avoid judgment. Avoid awkward moments. Avoid feeling out of place. And at first, it feels like the right choice. Because you feel calm. You feel safe. But over time, that comfort can become a trap. You start saying no more often. You stop trying new things. You avoid challenges completely, and without realizing, your world becomes smaller. Because growth rarely happens in comfort. It happens when you step into uncertainty. When you face situations that don't feel easy. That's how confidence builds. That's how strength develops. So the goal is not to force yourself outside or lock yourself inside. It's balance. Knowing when you need rest and knowing when you need growth. Because both matter. And ignoring either one will always hold you back. But there's something deeper happening here. When you spend time alone, you start hearing your own thoughts more clearly. There's no distraction, no interruption, no need to respond to anyone. And slowly, your mind becomes quieter, more focused, more honest. Because in social environments, you are always adjusting. You filter what you say. You control how you react. You change small parts of yourself just to fit in. And most of the time, you don't even realize it. But your brain does. And that constant adjustment creates pressure. A silent kind of stress that builds over time. That's why even good social interactions can feel exhausting. Not because they were bad, but because your mind never fully relaxed. But at home, you don't need to perform. You don't need to impress. You don't need to explain yourself. You can just exist. And that feeling, that freedom, is something your brain remembers. That's why, once you experience it, you keep going back to it. Because it feels real. It feels safe. And most importantly, it feels like you don't have to be anyone else. At the end of the day, loving to stay at home doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you different in a bad way. It simply means you value peace. You value calmness. You value your own space. And in a world that is constantly loud, that's actually rare. But don't forget this. Peace is not something you hide in forever. It's something you build and carry with you. Because real strength is not just feeling calm when you're alone. It's staying calm, even when the world gets noisy again. So yes, enjoy your time alone. Recharge. Reflect, understand yourself better. But don't let comfort limit your life. Use it as a base. A place where you return to become stronger. And then, step outside again. Not because you are forced to, but because you choose to. And when you make that choice, with awareness and control, that's when everything changes. Because now, you're not avoiding the world. You're facing it on your own terms.